Alright guys, I'm just going to do this real quick and it's going to be really fast so this video doesn't take too long. I'm just going to quickly show you how I put together arrows to make them safe. I've been doing probably a few dozen of them now lately for people at the park. So real quick, things that you need: duct tape, hockey tape, piece of PVC that's about 3 inches long, penny or nickel, some camp pad, 2 pieces of this, pool noodle, a stress ball, packing tape, Gorilla Glue, and spray adhesive, or you could use contact cement. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is put this penny on this piece of PVC insulation. That way when the arrow goes through, it hits the penny. But we're going to make sure this penny is really on there tight. So the first thing we're going to start with is duct tape. I use half the side of duct tape. Alright, you're going to take a piece probably a good 5 inches long. Alright, and we're going to stick this penny on there real good. Alright, the reason I use half is so I can use the other half, wherever it is, to stick it on evenly and to overlap it. If you just have it on one side, the penny might shift, so you got to make sure it's covered the whole way on both sides. Okay. Doesn't really matter how clean this is, as you can see. This is how I have it. Alright. So make sure it's nice and tight on there. And the next part, you take the hockey tape and you do the same thing. This is just to reinforce it, and it will also help you put the glue on to help it reinforce some more. The glue sticks onto the hockey tape a lot better than duct tape. If you can't rip it, use scissors. Normally I use scissors. I don't know why I'm ripping it right now. But regardless, did the same thing. 2 pieces across, same way. Alright, so that penny won't budge. For extra measure, let's torque it. Make sure this doesn't move. Alright. Now it's on there very tight. So that's step 1. Alright. Step 2. I'm not actually going to open it, but you're going to use this Gorilla Glue, because I've done it with a bunch of other ones right now, but I'm going to show you the outcome. I'm going to use this Gorilla Glue, and I put it on the side, not too much, because Gorilla Glue expands a lot. And then, well, yeah, you're going to put some at the tip afterwards. So you're going to blah, 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 put some on there. Alright, and then you're going to take your 2.5 inch pool noodle, and you're going to squeeze this through. This is very important to have it glued in there, alright guys, because that way this doesn't push through when the arrow hits, and it starts to make its way through the other foam. So if it's glued in there with something as strong as Gorilla Glue, it'll evenly it'll evenly push the whole time. Don't push it all the way through. You can push all the way through once to get the glue nice and tight there, but you're going to want to leave ½ an inch here. You're going to put some glue, and then you have these little pieces of round foam here, or spare foam to put in. You put 2 pieces, you make it bulge a little bit, and then you tape it. Alright? That's not wasted time. I wasted some tape because I'm not actually doing it. But, alright, so once you tape it down as I showed, get a nice piece of paper, because the glue's a little bit of glue's gonna leak out. Put it there, let it dry overnight. Okay, that's step 2. Alright. Step 3 is you cut one of these balls. They're actually fairly stiff, in half. They're way over 2.5 inches. I think they're 2.75 inches. This is a 2.5 inch round. You're going to take 2 of these if they're small, or if you have a nice thick one. I have 2 of them already glued together. And then you're also going to glue it with spray adhesive, because you don't want to put the Gorilla Glue. So you're done with this stuff for now. You're going to take the spray adhesive, go somewhere outside, spray it, and then spray here. And then you're going to pop it like this. You're going to tape it down to make sure that it stays together. and then you're gonna put it down and let it dry. Okay, that's step 3. So now that let's look at finished products. So this is the step 2 product. This is the step 3 product. So you have these 2 pieces. All right, this is the tape I put around it, as I mentioned, that help it stay together. You're gonna take the tape off. Maybe I'll use another one that's easier. The reason to take the tape off is because when you glue this part onto here, the glue stays better if it's not on packing tape. Okay? I know it looks a little bit messy. It doesn't really matter, guys. So you can either glue, it's all held together really nice and tight. You can see the glue does come out at the bottom a lot. That's okay because it just makes it so this doesn't move at all. So now this can't come off the pool noodle. This is some fairly high density pool noodle. It's not some of the cheap stuff, just to let you know. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to, what's this here? Alright, so we have the 2 sections here. Going to do the spray adhesive here. I'm actually doing it this time because I need to do it anyway. Alright, so spray adhesive on both sides. I'm going to put it together. Alright, putting it together, and now to take packing tape. Again, this packing tape is only to keep it together. Use scissors, guys, unless you've done this enough. Alright, it's a little bit crooked right now, I'm just doing it real quick, but again, when you torque it down later, it'll even things out. So, you can see here now, I'm going to shave this off and make it look nicer later on. You'll see in the next thing. But you're going to put this down to somewhere, say a piece like this, put it down like that, and let it dry overnight. Every time you have something glued together, you're going to let it dry overnight. So this can take up to 3 days, depending on how quickly you do things. But it's very important to get the glue dry so things don't push through the foam that's already on there. Alright, guys? Okay. So, I'm just going to leave that there. We're going to go to the next step. Alright, so this one is one that's dry. I've already let it go overnight, so as you can see, I'm just going to take it off so you can see that it's dried up. Okay, this is dried up. Alright, so the next step is, you could have left that on actually, it doesn't matter. I'll probably just retape it. I just wanted to show you that it was done. Okay, so, and then like I said, I shaved here off, so it's going to make it easier to torque. Alright, but just so you make sure that it's all nice and tight. Keep that piece that you had on there before. Okay. And just put more on. Check all the foam. Sorry, when I'm trying to speed through things for tutorials, it seems I lose my way. Okay, so let's put this through. It's the last piece I need. Okay. Alright, so now you have this across. Now I know it looks a bit messy. So as you're going to do it, you're going to torque here. But you don't want to torque it too much. You're just going to try to make it even. So it makes it look like a cone. So it doesn't look bulgy too much. Alright, so as you do it, you go down a little bit harder as you go. That's why I shaved it. Again, it's glued there, so the shaving doesn't even matter too much. It's just to make it easier to torque at the end. Okay? And it's all Gorilla Glue down there. So it's not going anywhere. Okay, so this is what it looks like afterwards. I mean, once you get, if you pay more attention to it, you can get it a little bit detailed a bit better. But you have the 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch there, and then this is all open cell foam. It's actually really stiff open cell foam. But, so that will pass the standards that you need, and it will never punch through. I had one that did punch through, that wasn't mine. Someone else tried to make them like I did, but they didn't glue it to the PVC. Very important to glue the noodle to the PVC, guys. Very, very important. Okay, so the next step is, well, if we just do this real quick, cover You don't really, I'm actually not going to do this because you can just sew covers. I prefer to sew them sometimes. If I'm in a hurry, I'll just cut a square like I did. You can do that, and then you can hockey tape around it. Let's say that it's on there. Then you have the arrow. So you're all done here. Okay, so at the arrow, you're going to want to calculate where your 28-inch draw is, if you haven't already done that based on the cut of the arrow. I tend to usually get 31-inch arrows. I get them cut at the store when I buy them, and that way I know when I make the modular heads that it goes down, because they're almost 3 inches long, and then with a little bit of tape that holds it down, it's going to be 3 inches off the 31-inch, so you're always doing your 28-inch draw. So you got to make sure that you, again, using the same duct tape, because I was using half pieces. You can use that same strip. I don't do the whole thing. I do a little strip at the top, a little strip in the side here, and that way you have it so it doesn't rattle. It goes in nice and tight. All right, as you see, it won't rattle. Once I have it taped down, it'll be an arrow that won't rattle. Okay, so then you tape it down with I usually use hockey tape. Hockey tape is holding my piece right now, but anyway, you don't need to see it. It's not hard to know. You torque it down. I'll just do it with packing tape real quick just to show you. Okay, a little piece of packing tape. Alright, you're just going to torque it down right there. I'm not really torquing, I'm going to take that tape off. But, just so you know how it looks. Alright, so this is how your arrow is going to look. This is a modular tip, so you can always take this off your arrow breaks and put it on the next one. So always make sure that this is always very, very well made. The extra tape around will make it